Hello, Patriots, praying citizens, and truth seekers. Today is Sunday, September 16th. We have quite a bit of new Q to look through, some from yesterday, but most of them from today. I'm calling this video Together We Win. It looks like the finish line is in sight. Some of the Q posts will take us to an emergency communications system that will be used by the president this week on the 20th. We have Nunes saying he will release deposition notes on 70 people related to the Mueller investigation. General Flynn is using the Q image at a convention, so that leads us to wonder, is he part of the Q team? And then a quote and an article from Andrew McCarthy, those who excuse themselves accuse themselves, which is also in the Bible, Romans 2:1. And then finally we'll be looking at Obama's executive order that entraps him, and he is exposed as a renegade and traitor. There are other things, and we will get to those as well. So let's start with this. This is where Q sent us to look at a funny little video called At Real Trumperland. I'm not going to play it because last time I did that I got in trouble for violating copyright. So it'll be in the Q posts if you want to go watch it. It's just a funny video about all these people getting arrested with Trump dressed in an FBI jacket and leading the way. Then we have this, it is post 2172, September 17th, the week of, which is tomorrow. This from CNN, FEMA, presidential alert, Trump emergency test. Q asks, D-class coming? More incriminating text releases coming? Dark to light, carpet bombs, the mother of all bombs. Q. So here's the CNN article, presidential alert, FEMA to test emergency alert system next week. You'll soon be getting a message on your phone from the President of the United States, whether you are a supporter or not. It's not a political message, but an emergency test message sent from President Donald Trump as part of the Emergency Management Agency's system to warn the public in case of national emergencies. You'll be getting that on Thursday, September 20th with the header, Presidential Alert, and the message, this is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed. Won't that be exciting? Then this from Q, he actually posted this later, but I wanted to include it with this batch of posts because it relates. Test Thursday by Department of Defense to confirm free flow of direct communications. POTUS, specially authorized, and he is required, think the football. So probably POTUS special authorization required, think the football. The NSA is monitoring for any attempts to disrupt and or term access. Central Command Q. Anyway, there will be a lot of anticipation for that. This is post number 2173. Lots of Q folks wearing their Q t-shirts and holding up their signs. We are Q. Q responds, they want you divided by race, religion, culture, class, political affiliation, but divided you are weak, together you are strong. We the people, where we go one, we go all. 2174 is a Twitter status I will show you in a second. Together we are strong, together we win. So this is Michael Flynn in the middle. We have educating liberals on the right and then someone else on the left. Picture of our favorite general at the Eagle Council with some Q patriots. Notice the napkin on Education for Libs bottle too. And I don't know what it says. Let me see if we can see. There we go. Where we go one, we go all. At Real Donald Trump, at General Flynn, thanks to at Formerly Young for letting me know. And I thought I would include this. This is from Flynn's speech. And you see this image right here. It is the same as this image. This is from Flynn's page. And someone named at a Common Sense Way says, at the awards ceremony, General Flynn spoke alongside a PowerPoint with the flag in his last image. When we walked down to meet and greet, they said, it's our Q flag. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. Then this one, 2175, a National Review article by Andrew McCarthy. In the Russian probe, it's, and I think this is a French phrase, qui s'accuse, s'accuse. He who excuses himself accuses himself. Making excuses reveals a guilty conscience. And this is an FBI logo right here. Oh, and then Q says panic in D.C. So I'm not going to read the whole article, but I pulled out, this is the first page, unseal the FISA redactions. We should be alarmed by what's already disclosed. So McCarthy is basically saying we've got everything we need to put an end to the witch hunt and prosecute these people. These are some of the key points. Every one of the 4 FISA warrant applications asserts that the upper hierarchies of the FBI and the Justice Department believed the Steele dossier. They believed in it and they used it, which said basically Trump colluded with Putin to win the election. The redactions that we've all been waiting to have unredacted have nothing to do with what really matters, that the president was the main suspect in an investigation without a crime. Rosenstein didn't meet the requirements of showing a factual basis for a criminal investigation before he appointed Mueller. And this is very important, the Obama administration targeted Trump without a factual basis. Well, duh. We've all known that. The FISA warrants themselves are not permitted to be used to ferret out the evidence of a crime. The FISAs are supposed to be about gathering information about the actions and the intentions of foreign powers that threaten the U.S. And where were the foreign powers? They were just these unnamed Russians. And this was really an excuse to go after Americans like Carter Page, the president, Paul Manafort, etc. Prosecutors normally have nothing to do with FISA, which stands for Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Authorization or something like that. It's not designed to make a criminal case unless they stumble on it. So in other words, the only way that they're ever supposed to turn this into a criminal thing on Americans is if they accidentally find out that an American is doing something illegal. Using the FISA to prosecute a criminal case was a pretext to justify spying. And we have former FBI Director Comey broke protocol to confirm the existence of an investigation and identify suspects. So he went out publicly giving this thing some weight by confirming that there was an investigation and talking about the suspects. The investigation of collusion was a pretext to spy on Trump. And finally, the upper ranks of the FBI and the DOJ investigated Trump solely for political reasons. The headquarters became the investigators and withheld information from Congress in order to hide what they were doing. They also withheld necessary information from the FISA court, the judges. Rosenstein persists in his refusal to identify any crime for which there was such a strong basis to believe Trump could be guilty that a special counsel had to be appointed. So I want to say this about National Review. I used to subscribe 20 years ago, and it was a very conservative magazine while Buckley was still alive. Well, since he's passed away, it has gotten very rhino-ish. So for Andy McCarthy to put this, now he's a strong conservative, but for him to put this in National Review and for it to receive some attention is a very good thing. 2176. So we have this, which doesn't exist. I went there and it's not there. But Executive Order 13526, Section 1.7, and this is an Obama executive order, classification, prohibitions, and limitations. And this says that you cannot classify information if it conceals a violation of law, inefficiency, or an administrative error. You can't keep it classified, anything classified, if it's just because you want to prevent embarrassment to a person, an organization, or an agency, to restrain competition, such as in the election, or to prevent or delay the release of information that does not require protection in the interest of national security. And here is that executive order, and you see it says, now, therefore, I, Barack Obama, by the authority, blah, 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 order as follows, and things, the classification standards with this when you cannot classify something or keep it classified. Hello, Obama. See, they never thought she was going to win, so he thought he could get away with it. From 2179, we have a Fox News article, Lisa Page testimony, collusion still unproven by the time Mueller's special counsel appointment was made. So we're going to look at that a little deeper in a minute, but more than 9 months after the FBI opened its highly classified counterintelligence investigation into alleged coordination between Trump and Russia, FBI lawyer Lisa Page said investigators still could not say whether there was collusion. And that is according to a transcript of her recent closed-door deposition reviewed by Fox News. No evidence of collusion prior to Mueller's appointment. Then from the Daily Caller, House Intelligence Russia transcripts. House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes said Sunday that he plans to release transcripts of interviews with around 70 witnesses in the Trump-Russia probe within the next few weeks. And this is a quote from him. We believe that the depositions that we took, I think for nearly about 70 people, those need to be published. And they need to be published, I think, before the election. Then Q says, House of Cards. Then this from the Daily Caller. 3 Democrat congressmen attended a private dinner hosted by Iranian President Hassan Rouhani in 2013, a new report reveals. Keith Ellison of Minnesota, he's running for Attorney General there. Andre Carson of Indiana and Gregory Meeks of New York attended the private dinner along with Louis Farrakhan, a notorious anti-Semite who leads the black supremacist group Nation of Islam. And this is while Iran was the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. You know, that sounds like some traitorous actions to me, but what do I know? Then this from, let's go to the next slide. So this is from the oath of office that is taken by senators and representatives. It's from the U.S. Constitution, Article 6, Clause 3, and it says, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. #1 sponsor of terror. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Define traitor, a person who betrays another, a cause, or any trust. A person who commits treason by betraying his or her country. Synonym equals renegade. What was the Secret Service codename for Barack Hussein Obama? That's right, renegade or traitor. And then Q reposts that, and then he adds this. Donald Trump's tweet, just watch Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo on Fox News. This show is mandatory watching if you want to understand the massive governmental corruption and the Russian hoax. It will be rebroadcast this evening at 6 p.m. on at Fox Business, a must-see. Okay, now note that he posted this at 12:25 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. Q says timestamp and content, 12:24 and 12:25. And then he posts this. We've already read it. It's the Devin Nunes saying he wants to release his notes, the transcripts of interviews with around 70 witnesses. And then Q says, Nunes, awake? Happy Sunday, Q. And those are all in caps. Now we're going to look at the timestamps in just a minute. All right, already looked at that. Here we are. A 1 delta. Delta equals 1 minute. 1 minute and 6 seconds. So the president posted his tweet at 12:25 p.m. Q gave us the large post about the Democrats and Rouhani at 12:24 p.m. And that post also contained the repost about the 70 witnesses. And then if you want to look at it in Eastern time, it was 11:25, I'm sorry, Central time, 11:25 and 12:25. So, very interesting. I'm sorry, not even reading this right. 11:25 a.m. Central was 12:25 p.m. Eastern. So that is just confirmation that Trump is validating Q. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the amount of stuff coming out against Q can really make you waver if you don't stick to your guns and just remember that nothing Q has told us other than, watch the show and that kind of stuff, where we go one, we go all. None of it's made up. It's all stuff he's pulling from the news. He's pulling from Donald Trump's tweets. He's sending us back to do some research. And so these people that say we're a bunch of cult followers, they don't know what they're talking about. All right. Then at the bottom of that I couldn't squeeze in the picture is Q saying, plus content match Nunes interview, it will become even more apparent going forward. Q. And I would love to have seen that interview this morning, but I didn't. I will post about it later. I'll put it in another video. All right, and then from 2183, the top part. So this was a little confusing. Q posted this that I just read you about content match regarding Nunes interview, and then an anon reposts that and puts underneath it 911 digits Q. Interesting. So you'll notice that this is number 3045911. And Q says, he reposts what that guy says and then says for them. In other words, it's interesting for them. Q. 2183. So that again for them. And then at the bottom, buckle up, memes at the ready. Then we have two stories, one from Wired and one from MarketWatch. Q says, do you believe in coincidences? The fight is real. The time is now. Okay, so this is about the memes and how we can evade getting kicked off of places by using memes. So from Wired magazine, they write, memes are challenging for AI programs to detect. So AI is machine learning programs that go through, someone writes a program in order to sort out what they want to kick off of the platform. The task requires processing several different visual elements at once. Systems need to read words as well as analyze images. Memes are cultural and they are difficult to understand out of context. And as people have said many times, the left does not know how to make memes. They're not funny. The right memes are funny. I mean that in the political right. Facebook using Rosetta to detect violators. So there's a program called Rosetta from Rosetta Stone, and that whole image of different languages, and they are able to detect violators. So here's what Rosetta does. It combines optical character recognition with other machine learning techniques. Okay, so it recognizes and tries to recognize the characters, and that optical character recognition identifies the location of the text within the meme or in a video. Then it transcribes the text to understand the meaning. It feeds the text to find an already debunked viral hoax. So they have a database of what they call viral hoaxes, and then they run the things together to kick out the ones that match. And Rosetta is now being used for Facebook, and it can read in multiple languages. So the censorship challenges for Facebook is that it takes tens of thousands of examples in order for the machines to learn, or the programs, whatever, to learn, which is offensive language if it's in a meme. The memes are not endlessly available because people keep making up new ones. Training data is an ongoing challenge, and it requires hand labeling. See, this is extremely time. It just takes them a bunch of time and a lot of effort to do this. And then add to that, the databases are protected by copyright laws. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're, if you want to communicate through memes, this may be the only way we can do it. So how do you get around their machine learning? You trick the AI by varying the coloration or the orientation of a meme. So if you take a meme that's already been out there and you just tilt it slightly, it'll confuse the machines. Or you take it and you run a filter of a different color in there, and that'll confuse the machine. So you slightly alter the meme, and that confuses the AI. And what it said in the article is it causes it to go haywire. Use multiple memes for inside jokes. The AI cannot understand memes like humans do. And then Market Watch basically said the same thing. Most of the work done by human fact checkers on Facebook has been geared toward articles, the company said, but Facebook announced Thursday it would use machine learning to identify potentially inaccurate photo and video content. Notice how they use the word inaccurate. And then send those items to human fact checkers for review. Let's keep them busy. Let's keep them so busy they can't keep up. And I'm not a great meme maker. My background's in advertising from the 80s and 90s, and I was good at it, but boy, I don't know. I haven't been able to come up with any good memes. I guess I'll have to practice, but I would love to see great memes out there and just confuse these people, confuse their machines. This one, 2184, John Solomon's tweet, Lisa Page bombshell, FBI couldn't find proof of Trump-Russia collusion before Mueller was named. So this is just a synopsis of this article from The Hill, John Solomon. It's a reflection of us still not knowing, is what Lisa Page told Representative John Ratcliffe of Texas when questioned about texts she and Strzok exchanged in May 2017 as Robert Mueller was being named as a special counselor or prosecutor. Well, it's actually special counsel. With that statement, Page acknowledged a momentous fact. After 9 months of using some of the most awesome surveillance powers afforded to the U.S. intelligence, the FBI still had nothing. Page opined further, acknowledging it still existed in the scope of possibility that there would be literally nothing to connect Trump and Russia, no matter what Mueller or the FBI did. As far as May 2017, we still couldn't answer the question. So it was a big zilch. Then Q posts this, 2185. This is a tweet from earlier, and I think he wants us to look at this portion. Prepare your memes. Non-NSA tech today cannot read and filter. And then he says, attempts to show Snowden to NSA failed. They are scrambling. Compare dates of articles to the drop. Now, remember who Edward Snowden is. He was a U.S. government contractor. He stole and leaked classified information from the NSA in 2013, revealing numerous global spying programs, including Five Eyes, which affects 4 other countries. He gave data to Glenn Greenwald and other reporters. He violated the Espionage Act of 1917, and he also stole government property. He's now hiding out in Moscow. Apparently, he's allowed to stay there till 2020, but we don't have any extradition with them, so he is not, we can't get him back. So this is something that kind of just shows the two, I don't know, it's just, I just threw it in here. It's Trump and Flynn and the flag meme that, or image that Flynn was using. All right, moving on. And now, not the news, but the news. So this woman named Christine Ford revealed herself on Sunday as the anonymous accuser of Brett Kavanaugh. She said that he was sexually, aggressive, or he had treated her poorly. So here's what he did. It turns out that they were at a high school dance together, and he groped her over her clothes and rubbed up against her at a dance. Hello, welcome to high school. I mean, come on. Okay, I'm not even going to say anymore. All right, Michael Moore, the big, humongous guy with the glasses that always wears a hat, looks like he never takes a bath. He is suggesting that President Donald Trump wrote the anonymous New York Times op-ed saying that he himself was unfit to be president, and he thought about impeaching himself. So these people are just amazing. And here's an article. I couldn't get to it because you have to subscribe. It's behind a paywall. So the lady's name is Christine Blasey Ford. She must be heard. Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation, which is supposed to take place Thursday, can't proceed until his accuser has a chance to testify. And note that this thing was written and released September 16th, 2018 at 7:36 p.m. I'm doing this right now at 4:49 p.m. Central Time, and this person posted it at 3:46. It's being released before it was released. Really, people? Okay, and I gotta end with this. If you haven't seen this already, this will just give you a chuckle. If the media will lie about this, what else are they lying about? Let's start here in the bottom right-hand corner. This was a clip from the Weather Channel, and this guy you can see his feet are apart because he's bracing himself against this tremendous wind. And it even looked like the wind on him was tremendous compared to the little bit of wind over here on these two guys in the background. And you can watch them on this video. They just stroll by while he's just bracing himself. And I wonder if they have a fan planted over on this side to just make it look worse. And this, of course, is from the Carolinas. I'm not exactly sure where Florence is dumping a bunch of rain. Okay, and then we have Anderson Cooper, who is the son of Gloria Vanderbilt, who was planted by the CIA in the media right out of college, or he may have still been in college because the CIA has a program called Operation Mockingbird where they put journalists to float their stories through the mainstream media. So here he is. It looks like he is standing in hip deep, for this lady, it's waist deep water in order to do their story. And look where he is. You can see he's over here. You can see he's crouching or sitting in a puddle in the middle of a street or something, or I don't know, wherever he is. But just a few feet away, someone who's on the production team is standing, and it's just hitting them mid-calf. So obviously, and then you can see over here in the upper right corner, you can see how they set this thing up to make it look like, he's so brave. He's, the water's so bad. You cannot believe these people. I remember the first time I realized they were lying about so much is when I was doing reports on the Pulse nightclub shooting, and I ran across these videos of these people supposedly carting their friends off to the ambulance or the hospital, walking them there, carrying them in their arms, 4 people carrying 1 injured person, and then before the camera stops rolling, they get to the right side of the frame, and the guy hops down and kind of shakes his arm because he's cramped from being carried, and the reporter's still talking about how all these people are being evacuated and carried out of the Pulse nightclub, and it was all a setup. And I saw the same thing at an airport when there was an airport shooting, because the shooting happens, and then an hour later is when the media gets there, so they want to reenact it, but they never tell you we're doing a reenactment. So they are a bunch of liars, and they will lie about everything. All right, well, that's all I have for today. Just keep praying that, people will not get discouraged as we wait for all of the stuff to come out, that people will start waking up. And Father, I just pray that a lot of people will see this Anderson Cooper thing, and they will start thinking like the thinking beings that you created us to be, to not just be like little fish eating everything that comes in the water. Just, Father, help us to have discernment and to recognize when we are being lied to. I pray for anyone who has a heart to change, that they will repent, anyone in the media, for what they've done to the American people, anyone in the government. And Father, we just ask for these trials, tribunals, whatever it is, to come soon and to do what the law is designed to do. And we thank you for that in the name of Jesus. And I thank you all for watching. And if there's a bunch more posts today, like I said, it's like 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. I'll think about doing them later this evening, but I may just take the night off and I'll just talk about them tomorrow. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.